In life's journey, we must seek to reflect, learn, and grow. Welcome to the Road to Rediscovery with your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Road to Rediscovery. I'm your host, Aubrey Johnson. The Road to Rediscovery is about reflecting on the lessons that life throws at us, right? For learning and for growth, and to take it to the next level, uplift others, and help others who are struggling through dark times. You know, the journey to growth and transformation is just that, right? A journey. It's a process consisting of small revelations, epiphanies, and yes, many setbacks. You got to be in it for the long haul, right? But why? Well, while I feel growth is always a work in progress, true growth and transformation requires a holistic approach, aligning every aspect of you: physical, spiritual, emotional, relational, and more. My special guest is the founder of Your Full Mind Life, focusing on prayer, spiritual growth, meditation, entrepreneurship, and a lot more. She's a mindful coach, life enthusiast, and relationship expert. With a genuine heart for service, her mission is to glorify God by helping others transform by renewing their minds. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Tania Steans to the show. Hi, Tanikia. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Aubrey. That is wonderful. You know, it's so funny when you're on the other end of this thing, right?
Yeah. On the other side of the table.
I'm always used to interviewing and being the one to announce others, but when you hear yourself being announced, I'm like, who is that person he's talking about, right? So thank you for such a warm, inviting welcome. I'm excited to be here and to just be able to share with your audience tonight. So thank you for having me. I'm excited and overjoyed to be able to have this opportunity.
Well, thank you. We reciprocate, and we're very, very honored and privileged to have you take time out of your busy schedule to chat with us. So let's go ahead and just share with the listeners, if you can, where you're from and what was life for Tonikia growing up.
Oh, well, Tanias is from a little town in Indiana called Muncie, where Ball State is, where the home of the Cardinals. And I'm an only child, so I grew up as the first of everything in my family. I'm the first girl, the first grandchild, and it was a lot, to say the least.
Oh, I bet.
Being that one. And it was good and bad for Tonikia, because Tonikia had no boundaries when she was a little child, because everyone allowed Tonikia to be Tonikia, and that's who she is today. And so, I grew up being fearless and believing that I could do all things, because, I follow this and serve this God that strengthens me. And from a early age, I knew Christ. And it's funny, my mom said before you could talk good, you were praying. She's like, you've always been praying and preaching. And I was like, okay, whatever. So when I was younger, I thought I'd grow up and be this famous motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And so, joke on you, Tanikia. But it's funny because I'm like, I'm going to be a motivational speaker and I'm going to inspire people when I grow up and I'm going to help them. And, I always had this urge to help people and to talk to them. And it's so funny because what way to be able to speak, but for God, because I am a motivational speaker, but not at all what I thought. And so that brings me to what I was telling you earlier. I want to jump in and just tell you this real quick. Today's been such an emotional day for me because our annual conference started. And this is the day I have to go before the bishop.
Oh, big day. That's right.
So 2016, I decided to answer my call from that little girl that was going to be a motivational speaker, that was going to now speak for God.
Yes.
I was like, what is going on here? It would have been so much easier to just be a motivational speaker, right?
Right.
Because I don't think people understand the walk of walking with Christ. It's a journey. And it's been a long journey. It's been a lot. And I think that when you ask God to open your eyes and show you some things, you can't ask him to close them and take it back.
No.
And so today was D-Day. that my husband and I both were in ministry together, that we got to our opportunity, that we were presented for the bishop to give us our yay or nay if we're going to be ordained. And lo and behold, weird stuff was happening all day long.
Man.
And when we got on, because we had to do everything through Zoom, we're doing Zoom things now.
Right.
And so when we got on, we had to wait. And then an hour later, they were like, okay, you're going to be dismissed. We never even got to see the bishop. And I'm like, what just happened here? Yeah. And so I send my dean an email and I go, so does this mean that we're not approved? And she says, yes, in all caps.
Really? Like, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. I mean, my heart just fell. And, I just, at that moment, I said, God, apparently I don't want to assume anything, but maybe she just read that text wrong. I don't know. But I was like, well, can you just let me know what happened? And she's like, you're good. And I was like, okay, that was too strange, because I'm not understanding why you're being so short with me. Well, that means that we're not going through.
Did we pass or not? Like, right?
Yeah, I was just like, what just happened? So my husband's he's real humble and laid back, and he's like, he's not saying too much. And I'm like, I'm sobbing, I'm crying, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm crying because I'm just devastated. Like, what just happened here, God? We've done everything right. I don't know what could possibly be going wrong. And so I get this phone call an hour later that says, I read that text absolutely wrong and you are approved.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
And I'm just like, and at this point, I was so in a somber mood that I'm just like, Tanikia as a little girl was this person that wanted everything microwave right now. I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
And I would get so excited about stuff, and I would get like overly excited about stuff.
Yeah.
But today I think I had my first real humbling experience.
I see.
And it's overwhelming because I didn't feel excited, and I didn't feel like I deserved it or any of these things. I just felt like humbled.
Yeah.
And so I think back to that little girl who was always talking and always wanting to help people. And now I am faced with this opportunity.
Yes.
That is now come reality. And so, that's Tanikia in a nutshell, just living life to pursue her dream of doing what I feel like Jesus called us to do. And that's to serve, and that's to spread his word and bring people to him. And I don't need to be ordained to do that.
No.
But just to know that I have the approval from God already to do what I've been called to do. And I know that. Yes. But just to know that someone else sees that you have done what you need to do, and you are able to go out and carry out this mission. Yes. I know that's nobody but God, because and so I wanted to share that with you, because like I said, it's been an emotional day and it's been crazy. And I'm like, I got to do this interview tonight. And I'm an emotional person. I really am. I'm very passionate.
Yeah.
And I get excited more for other people. And so when I'm able to help other people, so now I'm just thinking about, wow, I can really go out and serve, and people will know that I'm not just coming on Tanikia. I'm not just here because Tanikia just wants to tell you something.
Right.
But I'm here because God has really given me the authority to do so. So I'm excited about that.
Well, congratulations. And I'm excited for both you and your husband. And my goodness, isn't it amazing how the Lord works, though?
Oh.
It really is. I mean, when we start out at a young age with dreams and aspirations, and we want to be at a certain age, we want to be a certain level or a title, or, have something by that age. And so it never turns out the way you think you're planning it, right? Because it's God's plan,
Yeah.
not our plan. And we never know exactly where the journey leads us, because there's so many different directions to get to that destination of whatever it is you want to be as a person. And I just find that fascinating. And the way the Lord works through other people and events to humble us at certain times. He's not condemning us.
No.
We're convicted. We're,
that part.
yes, that part. And so I just think it's absolutely tremendous, and I appreciate you sharing, and being transparent and vulnerable in this emotional roller coaster that you've gone through, because you and your husband put in a lot of work for this. And another thing that I see with you and your husband, Tonikia, is this may seem like the destination because you've worked so hard to get this ordained approval, but it, in some cases, is just the beginning.
Oh, Aubrey, it's so funny that you say that, because this is what my husband said to me. He said, Tonikia, this is like us pulling up to Kings Island. We're there and we can see the rides, but we haven't even got out the car yet.
That's right. That's right.
In the line. He said, this is the point we are at right now. And I'm like, you're so right. And what you just said just sums that up, because when he said that, he's like, we are just like pulling up and you see the rides and you're getting closer. Yes. And he said, and now you're out. He said, we haven't even got our tickets yet to get in the line. So, this is just the first phase. And, I did discuss with you before how I got to the place that I'm at now to even start my business, Your Full Mind Life, because a year ago, Tanikia was in a dark place through I think when I accepted my call to ministry is when everything started to unravel. Like, I don't know. It's like everything started to come apart. And I think that happens because you're being molded now. Because, I said I was journeying through life, and Tanikia had Tanika's way, and Tanikia was always used to getting what Tanikia wanted. And, it was always about Tanikia. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then it came a point in time, me and my husband took on our nieces and nephews, and we started raising them, 5 of them, 8 altogether.
Wow. God bless you. Oh my gosh.
And it's been a journey, and it's all took place right when we decided to answer this call.
Yes.
I mean, before that, everything seemed like it was fine. Right. But as soon, do you hear background?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I think that's my little girl. She keeps going in and out, and
that's okay.
I'm trying to tune it out a little bit.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, that's
okay. It all started when we said yes, and I was like, seriously, how at this point in time, how crazy? So we go from 2016 to this long drawn out thing, trying to make sure our nieces and nephews are in a good place, and then 2 years later, they're in our home, and a year later, my husband has this artery burst and has open heart surgery.
Oh my gosh.
And is 1% chance of living.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, okay, God, seriously, we are right in the middle. We're in the thick of it. We're in school.
We
are in ministry classes. We just got these children. I quit my job because I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and my husband was going to be able to take care. We had this plan that just unraveled.
Yes.
And then he comes home, he's getting better, and then here comes COVID.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, seriously, what else is going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, the thing that happened was one of our babies that we had, he went to live with his dad. And that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
Really?
And I had a mental breakdown.
Oh my goodness.
Because I had told these children, I'm going to make sure you're together and you're safe, and we're going to make sure that everybody's, and even though he's with his dad, I felt like I was letting the kids down, you know. I
Oh, I
did. I
see.
felt like they see, well, he's leaving, and then are we going to all start getting separated? What's going on?
Right,
And the
right.
promise that I made to them, I wasn't able to keep. And I
Mm,
felt like a failure.
mm.
And at that moment, I broke down. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. For 8 days, I was walking around like a zombie. And
Wow.
I ended up in the hospital for 7 days, I believe it was,
Mm.
right when COVID hit. COVID
Oh
hadn't
my
even been
goodness.
announced yet.
Yeah, really?
It hadn't. And it was so funny how everything transpired because I'm in the hospital, COVID's going on. I don't know if any of this stuff is going on.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I kept seeing these signs
Mhm.
that said rest, rest, rest. And I knew then God was telling me I needed to rest. I
Yes.
was taking on too much. I was doing too much. I
Mhm.
mean, I never stopped. I was just going, not doing self-care, not taking care of my mental ability to take care of
Right.
these kids as far as
Right.
my physical ability.
Yes.
And I'm taking care of everybody, but not taking care of me. And when I was in that hospital, I had time to come to Jesus.
Good. Good.
In my mind, I knew then I have to get my mind under control because my
Mhm.
mind was, I've always had a strong mind. And
Yes.
I knew I could overcome. And I had to just keep thinking, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do? Now, in 2014, which is funny, I had started my business for my life coaching, and I was certified in neurological linguistic programming.
Yeah.
And so it's all about the brain, how connections work and how you think, and
Right.
being able to train your thoughts.
Mhm.
Well, you need to use what you know, right?
That's
Use it,
right.
use what you know. So I just started meditating, and I just
Okay.
started praying, and I just started talking to God. And I'm like, you know what? When I get out of here, I'm going to revamp this business
Mhm.
because the business was dormant. I wasn't even thinking about touching it because I got these kids and I got all this stuff going on. But at
Right.
this point in time now, I've got to do something to get myself back acclimated and being a human being and not just laying
Right.
around dormant. And
Yeah.
so I just started writing, and I was like, when I get out of here, out of this hospital, and I was there to rest because that's why the doctor put me in the hospital. He's like, you need to rest. You are
Right.
out of control and you will not sit down. You need to rest.
Mm.
And it was so funny because they had tried to put me on anxiety medicine, all of this stuff. And so
Yeah.
January of this year, I want to say,
Okay.
yeah, because now everything seems so blurry. Because I think, yeah, January of this year, I was on medication. I
Okay.
haven't taken any medication at all. I'm not on anything whatsoever
No.
because when I got out of that hospital, I started working on the business. I started just not pouring all of me into it because I had to find balance.
Right.
And I didn't need to start just focusing on one thing and leaving everything else out. But
Yes.
I needed to get myself to a place of light because I was in the dark for a long time. Even
Wow.
after coming out of the hospital, I still was in the dark, but I had to
Right.
slowly try to pull myself out of that space. So I kept focusing on the business and what can I do to help others?
Yeah.
And I knew the person that needed my help was me.
Yeah.
So I needed to speak to that person.
Mhm.
And I needed to reach that person that was going through similar things that I had been going through. And at this time with COVID, anxiety and depression was setting in. People have been locked in a home for a year and not being able to go out. And
Right.
so I was able to really dive in and pour into this business and really work it in the way that it needed to be worked. And that's how we came up with Your Full Mind Life. Because if you don't have a full mind, you probably can't have the fullest life that you would like to have because your mind controls your thoughts and your thoughts control your actions. And, and
Yep.
that brings on diseases and it brings on shutting your body down. Just having anxiety
Yeah.
for 4 to 5 minutes can just make you feel like you're sick, like you don't feel good. And
Yeah.
so learning how to retrain our thoughts and learning how to just meditate and calm down and breathe and find peace within is the best thing that you can do. And I knew when I was able to do it for myself that is how I would be able to help others in the midst of everything that else I was doing in this ministry. And I'm like, it can all tie together because it's about reconciling yourself
Yes.
and then reconciling back to God, and then reconciling with your family, because I had done some damage around here. I had done some damage. And so all this was about like reconciliation. But before I could help anybody, I had to get myself together. And so that's my thing. I want to show other people how it's okay. Sometimes we might break down. Sometimes we might melt down. Sometimes we may not even be who we really think we are. But when we come to reality and accept that truth, then we can start healing and we can make a difference, and we're better for ourselves and we're better for others. And so, a year ago, I started the podcast. I started my podcast in September because of that. I wanted to give people a platform to come on and tell their stories and to share sort of like what you do as far as the rediscovery part and how you get your life back on track. And I'm telling you, it's been so therapeutic for me. I've met some great people and I've really learned a lot, and it's helped me to become stronger, because the strong person that I thought Tanikia was, she wasn't strong. She wasn't strong because she was doing it on her own. But when I let go and I really allowed God to do what he does and stop being afraid of failure and stop being afraid of what might happen. The rest is history. And today is proof of it.
Beautiful. No, absolutely beautiful. And what a tremendous journey you've had, Tonikia. I mean, from being hospitalized and getting the rest, and then the medication, the breakdown, and giving a promise like that to children, and feeling like you're coming up short or coming up short is it could be devastating, as from a maternal or a paternal type of role in a home, and so again, for the transparency and the vulnerability and sharing with us this, I am very grateful, and want to thank you for that and commend you for what I see as, ever since you were small, from what you're sharing with us, the little Tonikia, you've always had a strong will from the very beginning. And so even throughout these dark days of doing some damage in your family relations, as well as just not taking care of yourself as you should, and having these feelings of doubt, maybe borderline depression, I'm not sure, but throughout all of that, you had a strong will, knowing that you can turn this around and get out of this, and isn't it interesting how as soon as we make a decision, or God puts something in our heart to draw closer to him, okay, and move closer towards him in our journey, then in the brokenness of this world, spiritual warfare happens, and anything and everything that tries to get in our way of drawing closer to God happens for some reason. It's kind of like Murphy's Law, but you've overcome, and you've started this business, your Full Mind Life, and talking about resetting your mind, freeing your mind, and looking inward, right? You're looking inward and teaching people how to look inward to find the things that bring them joy, and the good attributes about themselves, and how they can make themselves a priority, to do the self-care that they need, so that they can be equipped to helping others. You have to help and nurture yourself first. Is that right?
That's it. You have to. And if I can, real quick, I don't know how much time we've got, but something just dropped in my spirit. And when you mentioned me being a little girl and the strong will that I have, I want to tell you why. When I was 5 years old, my mom tried to commit suicide.
Oh.
It was her and I, and she did that in front of me. I'm her only child, and she was going through a depression, and her and I were at home alone, and she told me what she was doing. And at that moment in time, I said, I have to save her life. at 5 years old. And this is what this kid did. I knew that I wasn't going to go get anybody to call the police, because then I might get taken away from her and she might get in trouble. And I knew the time. And so I had to wait. And so I played hide and seek with her to keep her going. And I kept playing games with her. I'm like, we got to play hide and seek. And I just kept her going. I kept her up. And then my neighbor downstairs, I trusted them. And when they got home, I went down there and I told them I needed to use their phone. I still didn't tell them what was going on.
Right.
Now, I don't know why I knew these things, but I went down there and I told them I need to use their phone. And I called my grandma because she was home from work at that point in time. And I told her she needed to come over our house because my mommy needed her. And my grandma came and took my mom to the hospital.
Wow. Amazing.
My mom is
my God,
still here till this day.
Oh, praise God, man.
And
oh my goodness.
I don't think she took something that could actually really have hurt her too bad.
Right.
But she was young. She was a young mother. And my dad, they ended up getting married later on. And then they were together forever. My father has passed away now. But I mean, she was going through something at that point in time. And that's how I learned to become a strong person, because I didn't ever want to be someone that felt like I felt sorry for myself or wanted to give up on life. I felt like you have to keep going. You have to. And if you see somebody hurting, you can't let them give up. No, I don't care who it is. And I knew that I couldn't let her give up, because today's just a bad day, but tomorrow might be better. And at 5 years old, and I still believe that, no matter, and my therapist, because I go to therapy now, and it's the best thing. And he goes, Tanikia, no matter what is going on, you will see it good in some type of way. Yes. And I'm like, well, if that's not the case, then the Bible is a lie, because, things are going to happen. Yeah. But we got to count it all joy, no matter what. And I believe that. And sometimes I think that, people don't get that or realize that that's real and true, but we don't know how to be that way, because we've been taught all these other ways that we're supposed to fear, and we're supposed to have doubt, and we're supposed to get scared or anxious. And I never faced that until I went through my breakdown. So for me to experience that, I was able to understand what that looked like. Gotcha. Before I'm just like, you need to just get over that and push yourself through it. But I'm telling you, even through all of that, I'm still, there she is. I'm still a firm believer that if you dig down deep, that you can overcome anything. This is my mini me. I don't need you to be on camera.
She's so cute. Your mini me. Hi.
Okay, we'll go find one. I'll be there in just a minute. I will make one for you. She thinks I can, but see, this is the thing. She thinks I can do things that I don't even know why she thinks I can do them. But that's what it's all about. Yes, it is. It's about being there for somebody that loves you and cares about you enough to believe that you can do things that might be impossible, but you make it happen because you love them enough to make it happen.
No, absolutely. Just as you did 5 years old, in doing what you did to keep your mom from committing suicide. I mean, that's, wow, that is absolutely astounding. At 5 years old, to have that level of maturity or sensibility, to know what to do to get your mom in the direction of the help that she needs. And
you're the only second person I share that with. I was married to my husband, and one day, I don't know, because I put it out of my head or whatever. One day he and I were talking, and I just started telling him about that. I was like, you know what? I never even thought about it, because a lot of people would say, oh, you were traumatized, or that probably affected you in some type of way. And I don't know how it affected me, but it just let me know that never give up, fight.
Right.
No matter what, fight.
That's right.
And don't let somebody give up. They might think they want to give up, but this lady would have missed out on a whole bunch of Tonikia if she would have gave up.
Yes, 100%. Don't give up, and don't give up on others, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. I don't have words to describe, how strong a will you had at such a young age, and have this the awareness that you've had, and it's a true testament to who you've grown to today. So so I want to commend you for that, Tonikia, for sure. I want to talk to you quickly about the work that you do, okay, and what fuels your work. All right. With your full mind life, I think you have a value statement that somewhat reads, my goal is to glorify God by helping you. I consider this my mission, my ministry, and my life's work. There is nothing more profound to me than to know that I have made a positive impact on a life. So in working with as many people as you have as a coach, are you able to sense progress and growth within them?
Yes. Now, see, what happens is, I don't know, it's this weird ability that I have about seeing people's talents
Mm-hmm.
or seeing something in people that I'm like, you know what, we're not going to allow you to keep that buried in. We're going to pull that out of you.
Right.
And that's why I say that's my mission. My mission is to uplift you and help you be who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
so I believe what I always say is, like, I'm a great assistant. I'm here to assist you
Right.
to get
Right.
to your full potential. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be in the front. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm enough where I'm at. But
Right.
and a lot of times people are like, well, I can't do what you do. And I'm like, yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
show you how to do that,
Yeah.
because sometimes we're afraid and think that, oh, only certain people have gifts and talents. No,
Mm-hmm.
we all have these gifts and talents.
That's right.
You just have to understand what your gift and talent is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good at picking that up and saying, oh my God, you're awesome at this. Have you ever thought about? And I'm like, I've sparked a lot of people on starting things because they're like, well, I didn't even realize that that's what I loved, or that's what was inside of me. Yeah, that's what you're good at. That's what you
Yes.
do. That's what you know. We're going
Right.
to pull that out and enhance that. And we're going to make it better for you. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to encourage you to live out that full purpose, because we're
Mm-hmm.
purposed with something. We just sometimes don't know what it is.
That's true. Yeah, we don't. And you'll never know what it is if you don't start to explore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have connections and relationships with the right people who can help and coach you in exploring, and that's what you do. So yeah, so oh, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you so much. So Tonikia, how can the listeners connect with you, learn more about the help that you provide, and all the good stuff that you're doing to uplift others and help people reach their full potential?
Okay, well, I am on Facebook, Tania Steans, life coach, and I
Okay.
have a business page that is Your Full Mind Life on
Okay.
Facebook, and I have a website, yourfullmindlife.com. I'm on Instagram and it's under Your Full Mind Life as well. And
Okay.
Twitter it's all Your Full Mind Life. If you look up Your Full Mind Life, and it's so funny because when we pick that name, it's
Hmm.
not anywhere. I need to coin that because
Yes.
we can take ownership in the whole Your Full Mind Life, because it's not anywhere else. And so if
Hmm.
you are looking for that, you should be able to find me pretty easily. My podcast is Mind Your Business, Mindful Intentions, Nurture and Drive Your Business. And we're
Yes.
about to launch the full podcast on November 1st. And so I'm excited about that because I said September that I launched the podcast, but it was actually September that we launched the business. And in November, I launched the podcast, like start doing the lives, and
Yes.
I had no clue about podcasts, but November 1st, I have a whole year's worth of experience, and now we're getting ready to go and put it all together and put
Hmm.
all the interviews together and have the podcast go for full-fledged whatever. I don't know, because I'm not a real podcaster. I just do this by accident to give other people opportunity, but it's been such a pleasure and a joy. And if anyone has a story that they would like to share,
Hmm.
get with me, Tanikia Steans at yourfullmindlife.com.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Tonikia. We're going to make sure and have direct links to your website, your Facebook page, and other social mediums, as well as your email address on the episode show notes so that the listeners can directly click those links as they're listening to this wonderful conversation and start to connect with you for sure. I really appreciate that. And congratulations on the upcoming launch of your podcast, Mind Your Business podcast. That's MIND. Love the acronym, by the way. and I'm gonna subscribe and follow it and download the episodes. So I can't wait to hear the amazing stuff and insights that you're going to share with the listeners. So I'll be among those listeners, Tanikia.
Well, thank you. I sure appreciate it. You've been such an inspiration. And like I said, when I am looking for guests or looking at people, when I came across you, I was like, oh my goodness, he gets it. He's doing exactly what I'm talking about here. So I just applaud you and commend you for everything that you are doing and how you are helping change people's lives. And I mean, the stories and that people are sharing with you, and just, it's just amazing how people will open up, and it's a healing thing. And people don't even understand how by talking to you, they are touching others all over the globe. And so thank you for doing what you're doing.
Oh, well, you're too kind, and thank you for the thoughtful words. I really appreciate them, and I receive them. So I truly appreciate that. And each of us, we do our little part. We can move mountains together, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I am a complete believer of that. A true champion of change. And there are different ways of going out and taking action for change, right? That goes way beyond podcasting. But this is a start for me, and I would love to go in places where people are really struggling and they're in the midst of their despair, not transformed yet, but in the midst of their despair, and help them realize that there's hope, I would love to do that. And maybe that's the next phase. We'll see where the Lord takes me on this journey with the Road to Rediscovery. But, we're all on a journey, and who's at the wheel? Jesus.
Jesus is at the wheel. I don't even ask him to take it no more. It's so funny. When we're traveling, I'm like, hey, he's my pilot. And we pass the pilot gas station. I'm like, yep, check mark.
Check mark. There it is. Yep. That's right. Tonikia, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. All right.
I thank you, and you have a good evening. I appreciate you having me on here tonight. It's good and therapeutic to be able to talk and get that out. So thank you again.
Oh, no, likewise. And if you still have time, just a couple minutes to go through the 3 for the road.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we're going to go into this segment now called 3 for the road. And in this segment, I am going to ask you 3 random yet thought-provoking questions, challenging you to answer in 5 words or less for each question. So what do you say? Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. Let's do it.
All right, fantastic. And by the way, these are not cookie cutter questions. I don't ask the same questions of every guest, okay?
Okay.
These are customized questions based on your experience, your journey, your background, all right?
Okay, 5 words or less.
Here we go. Question number 1, starting us off for 3 for the road. After your roughest, hardest, most challenging day, what phrase keeps you going?
It's more than 5 words.
That's okay. Let it roll.
Lean not on your own understanding.
Lean not on your own understanding. I like it. I love it. No, that's beautiful. I don't
understand what's going on, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, don't lean on that, right? Yeah. No, that is something that can help change perspective when you are going through a day like that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So thank you for that. All right. Number 2 for 3 for the road. This is pretty easy. It's a fill in the blank. Okay. I equate the feeling of renewing my mind to.
Renewing my mind is just like opening up a fresh can of paint and just smelling, when you open up that paint and what it smells like.
Yeah.
Seriously, it hits you. because when you renew your mind, you start to see things differently. And that when that smell hits you, you're like, renewing your mind is like opening up a fresh can of paint.
Because you sense something different. Something is different. Yes.
There you go.
Okay. With the paint, it's the sense of smell. But but with the renewed mind, it's a feeling.
Your perception is changing and you're seeing things differently, and you're aware, you're more aware of who you are in the present moment.
Makes sense. All right. And number 3, topping us off with 3 for the road. Name a color that gives you the most sense of calm and peace.
You know what? That's hard. Let me see. A color that gives me, oh wow. I guess if I have to say, it would be white. I'm looking at this light, and just this light that's in front of me is more of a iridescent kind of light. And it feels like it's kind of calming and soothing. But
I like that.
A lot of times I get in the bathtub and I dim the lights, and and that's more of it's sort of like an iridescent light too, but it's not bright. So more like an iridescent light possibly gives me a calming feeling.
Okay. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, you knocked it out of the park, Tanikia. 3 for the road is done. And oh man,
don't put me on the spot.
No, we won't put you on the spot at all. But man, I just had a great conversation, great time chatting with you. And please, let's stay in touch. I'd love for you to come back on the show 6-8 months down the line and just update the listeners on where things are going on in your world.
I would love to do that, because who knows, after this week and after this conference is over, what's gonna happen, because we could get placed in a church right away, or
that's right.
It might be until planning meeting in October. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Whatever God says, we'll go for it.
Okay. Yes, we sure will. And just again, for the listeners, it's Your Full Mind Life. Okay.
Your Full Mind Life. All caps. Your Full Mind Life. All caps.
Your Full Mind Life. And subscribe and follow and download Tanikia's podcast, Mind Your Business Podcast. Yes. All right. And it's on all the available outlets.
All of them. Apple, Google, Spotify.
Wonderful.
Stuff I don't even know.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there these days, right? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you so much. God bless you. And I wish you much success in all that you do.
Oh, likewise. Thank you, Tonikia. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening. And as a quick reminder, the Rediscover Roadmap digital course is now available. This course shows you how to take an introspective approach to your personal development and self-accountability using the 4 pillars to personal growth. That's self-awareness, gratitude, humility, and service to others. For a free preview and to register, visit roadtorediscovery.com/course. That's road, the number 2, rediscovery.com/course. The Road to Rediscovery is part of a movement, a revolution. And guess what? You are now part of it. We're all roadies on this journey of life, and it sure feels good having you on the road with me. Thanks again for listening. We'll chat again soon.
The Road to Rediscovery is an AJ Shark production.